Namaste, my dear friends. Welcome back to another new episode on our Inner Transformation series with Akila Jaykumar, Mamta Singh, and Geeta Krishnan. We have three beautiful, amazing women who are doing great work in serving people. They are so wonderful. You will hear their experiences today. And I'm so glad I'm able to take this interview today. And I'm glad that you guys are here watching this episode as well. Thank you so much for joining in. And I'll give you a short introduction about each of them so that we get to know a little bit about them and then we will hear their experiences. Mamta Singh is from Bangalore. She's married with two kids. She's done her MBA HR and been in corporate world for 16 years at leadership role. Now left full-time job. She gives coaching for leaders as well as individuals. She's been seeking and exploring spirituality primarily for last 3 years. She's now transitioning towards a new role of serving and improving lives. Geeta Krishnan is a counselor by profession. She's also a life skills trainer, facilitator, and therapist, life coach, and most importantly, an ardent student of life, trained by our dear masters, Brahmarshi Chakravarti Dr. Newton Kondaviti and Brahmavidvarishta Dr. Lakshmi Newton from QLU, founders of QLU. Akila Jaykumar is a doctorate in materials science, worked in research and IT industry for 29 years and retired now. She conducts lectures on meditation, emotional intelligence, leadership, and self-healing techniques. Most recent was for 500 ASIs at Telangana Police Academy and for 30 wardens of Telangana Prisons Department. And of course, all of them have been our Sangha members for quite some time. And especially Akilaji and Geetaji are some of the first few students of Dr. Newton and Dr. Lakshmi. And we are so glad that they are also joining us today over here. And Mamtaji has been so active for the last few years, and she is really amazingly serving in from Bangalore to QLU and to many people, of course. Thank you, friends. So, first of all, let's know how their journey has began and when was it. Let's start with Akilaji. Akilaji, would you please share how your journey has begun, how you got to know about the masters, and when was it, and how it all started? Please share your journey.
Good evening, friends. Good evening, Mamta, and good evening, Geeta. And Harika, thank you very much for inviting me to be part of this. It's been a very amazing journey and very coincidental. We have been in Hyderabad for about maybe from 1995. And sometime in 2003, there was an article about Dr. Newton in Deccan Chronicle. So my father-in-law was visiting at that time and he was very interested and he had a hearing problem. So he wanted to see if he could get any relief from that. So we called up and then they were leaving in the 2 days time. So when we spoke to Sridevi, she said we would need at least 3 sessions for your father-in-law. So there wasn't time and he left without going. He's actually a homeopath, but he's a very open-minded person. So he was very interested in this healing technique. And the article in Deccan Chronicle was very good, very exhaustive. So then he told me, why don't you go? You have a little ankle problem. It's been troubling you for some years. I said, no, 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 I'm fine. I don't have any issues. I don't need to go to past life and all that. It will all recover. So we left it at that. Then, sometime in 2004, I have a very good friend, Dr. Uma Garimella. She has also done sessions with Dr. Newton. She was having some personal issues which she thought would help with a PLR session. So she said, why don't you come along? Let us both go to the Life Research Academy. We'll take a session. So she was to have sessions with Dr. Lakshmi. So I just tagged along and sat in the living room while her sessions were going on. And then at the last of the sessions, she had good experiences. And then Dr. Lakshmi said, we are going to conduct a basic workshop on Thursday. This was on Tuesday or something. We finished the session. So I said, oh, that's interesting. Can I join? She said, we are all full, so we can't do it. So we said, okay, whenever the time comes, we will find out. And then in between this, actually, we had once met Dr. Newton in a landmark forum. I had attended that in Bangalore. There was a follow on session in this landmark forum in Hyderabad. So when we were sitting there, we saw Dr. Newton come in and sit at the end. So I told my friend, that's Dr. Newton, the one my father in law wanted to meet. Soon as the session is over, we will run out and say hello to him. So we did that. We ran out and said hello to him, but we had not yet registered for the workshop or had any session. We just told him, oh, we are very happy to read about you. And you know, Dr. Newton is always so sweet and so smiling and so gentle. We were very impressed talking to him for that little while. So, anyway, to come back to this part, this workshop was to happen on Thursday and we didn't have a seat. So, we continued, came back home on Thursday morning or something. My husband knocks on the bathroom door. I was having a shower. It was around 8:15. He said, do you want to know if you were a cat or an elephant in your last life? I said, what? He said, no, no, I just got a call from Sridevi. They have one seat vacant because somebody who was to come from Nagpur, his train ticket did not get confirmed. And the workshop is starting at 9 o'clock. So I said, yes, I'm going. So, I hurriedly got ready. And though we are at least 15 kilometers away from the academy, my husband said, come, come, I'll drop you. So we charged in the car and reached just in time for the workshop. So that was how I joined by chance due to an unfortunate gentleman not getting his train ticket confirmed. so, so it was very good. That's how it works. This was in 2004, and then I had absolutely no experience in the workshop. Everybody was going into past lives, and I was sitting there. Dr. Newton was doing group sessions, no experience at all. I said, oh, I knew this was not for me, and it just goes to prove that I can't have a session. So we finished that. Then there was the actual therapist training workshop happening. So Rajshekhar called me after I did the basic workshop. He said, we are having one in June, we are having one in December, we are having one next June. Every time I found some reason not to go for it. Finally, in December 2006, I signed up for the workshop. And the workshop was very amazing. I'll explain those experiences when we come to the experience part of the session. But that is how my journey with Dr. Newton started. Thank you.
Wow, it's beautiful. It's so amazing to hear the beginning days always and how nature and universe just brings us to the right people at the right time. It's so always so wonderful to know. Thank you, Akilaji. We felt like we've also went back in your memory lane and came back over here. And Mamta ji, will you also please share how your journey started with the masters?
Yes. So, first of all, I'm also very lucky and glad to have, in the company of Akhilaji and Geeta, I have been with her. And thank you so much, Harika, for QLU for inviting me here. So my experience with QLU, Dr. Newton and Dr. Lakshmi started in 2016 second half. It was towards the end. It was, I think, August or September month. And I today call it, when I look back, that time I could not understand. But when I look back today, I call it a complete celestial strategy, a cosmic intervention in a way, the magic of his grace. Because that time, I don't know what my soul was seeking. I had no agenda. I was not knowing Dr. Newton or QLU. I was intuitively guided. I left my corporate world and I was sitting at home. There was some kind of a tickling in my soul. And I used to utter these words: meditation, past life regression, but my knowledge was zero, my experience was zero. There were certain life experiences that I had gone through in the past. We all have our own life experiences. But there's something that my soul was seeking. There could be something in my subconscious mind. My soul might be having an agenda, but to me, it was not having an agenda. Past life regression, and the name came on the Google, Dr. Newton. And his face is Indian, and then Dr. Newton. Then I thought, looks like some fake person, or what is coming here? And then I go further. There was a link given there, Life University. I go and click, and I found that there are certain programs happening, and I got intuitively attracted towards it. And I found that after 2 weeks there is a 2-day PLR workshop happening in Hyderabad. Now, till this time, no one has ever suggested me towards QLU or Dr. Newton, or I had no idea about spirituality. I was everything doing on my own. So that's why I call it a complete, combination. And I just book the tickets and I follow my heart and I land up in Hyderabad. And in the city, we had this. I met Dr. Newton, Dr. Lakshmi, the team, and I attended 2 days of PLR workshop. I don't know how it happened, but I was and experiencing had to experience. I was there. I was seeing whatever I had to see. I was experiencing whatever I had to experience. I had to listen whatever I had to. And towards the end of the 2 days, I found that, I felt that there is some deep connections. It looks like, in one line, I would say, an invitation to meet myself at a deeper level. I would say like that. And I would also say, like, James Russell said that all God's angels come to us disguised. And there I realized that Dr. Newton and Dr. Lakshmi, apparently they seem to be two humans, gurus, but it's there's something behind. They are the gods themselves, the angels themselves. And there are connections, and let me not dwell into that. Moment I bow down to them, and completely surrendered and said that, okay, let me take over. That's where my journey started in 2016 end.
Wow.
And towards 2017, year, when I attended back to back all the 5 programs under the guidance of Dr. Lakshmi and Dr. Newton. All this. So 2016, and I started 2017. All the 5 programs I covered, and that was again different experiences. So that's where it is, my start of the journey with QLU.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. Amazing. Thank you, Mamtaji. Thank you so much. And yes, Geeta ji, can you also please share how you have met them for the first time and how was it?
Yeah. First of all, thank you, Harika. Thank you so much. It's so nice to be here. And certainly not a coincidence, as Akila ji said, seeing Mamta here and seeing Akila ji here. Me and Mamta, when she started off, we were roomies in Pragati, and wonderful memories of sharing 6 days with her, intense talks, a lot of sharing. And it's so beautiful to hear their experiences. Personally, I go way back to 2002. We had shifted to Hyderabad from Cochin. My husband had been deputed to Hyderabad, and we had just come here in 2001. And I met Dr. Newton in 2002. And it happened like this. A very close friend of mine from my student days, he had lost his mother and he was looking for some answers. And he had traveled to Hyderabad to meet Dr. Newton. And we used to have long talks. So when he returned to Calcutta, that's where I was born and brought up, he called me up and he said, "Now that you're in Hyderabad, I'd like you to go and meet one person because I know you're a seeker. You're always, looking for answers." I always used to have a lot of questions. Like Mamta said, there was always a little fill in the blank. And I remember when I had to fill up the form with the very first time I was, when Sridevi handed me the form, that's the only thing I wrote over there, that there's a blank and I need to fill that somewhere, something. So uh, I decided, fine. I had an open mind. I wasn't looking for anything very specific, but yeah, I was looking for that little blank that was there, because I was going through the motions of life, a little bit of a foray into the corporate world, then the children, then typical samsara, as you call it, family, responsibilities, all of it. And that was on one side, and on the other side there was this questioning, seeking, looking for answers, searching for that little something which didn't really have a name. So that's how, on one afternoon I went, I met Sri Devi, and that was the old days at Kamlapuri Colony, which is still very close to my heart. And the moment I met Sri Devi, it was as if I'd met a long lost sister. I never felt that I was meeting a stranger. And then after the initial, the formalities, I was given a date, and I went on an afternoon. I remember it was a cloudy day. I met Dr. Newton. That was my first session with him. And when I met him again, it was as if, uh, I don't know, I felt I was meeting a brother of mine. That is it. It was not Dr. Newton for me. It was not a facilitator. It was not a master. It was not a guru. Nothing. It was as if I was meeting, and his very aura, his personality, and I just gave in. I said, okay, let's see what's going to happen. And there started the journey. And I remember after I came out, as Akhilaji said, I don't want to go into the details, but after that very first session, the transformation was immense. When I came out, I got into the vehicle. It was extraordinary rainy a day. It was pouring cats and dogs. And I even remember when Dr. Newton was initially guiding me, and I was trying to get into, he said, let every sound help you to go deeper and deeper. And all the sound was just roaring outside. And I was trying to, and I don't know what happened. It just happened. And a whole lot of things, lot of layers kept coming. And that's how the whole journey started. And I came out of that session a transformed person. Many questions answered, many still to be answered. I integrated, processed, and quite unlike Mamta, which many people have done, my journey was more like Akila ma'am's journey. It was not back to back, no modalities done back to back. There were huge gaps, big hiatus, and it kept happening. But the most beautiful thing was, over these 18 years, the connectivity was so strong with the Sangha and with Dr. Newton and with Dr. Lakshmi, that irrespective of the modalities that I did or did not do, what happened was the transformation was a one long, drawn out, beautiful, slow process. So much time taken to integrate. I remember there came a time when my husband was deputed back elsewhere, and I was here with a newborn child. And I remember attending many of the Sunday meditation classes because Dr. Newton wouldn't travel as much as he's doing now, he's been doing for the last. So there were these Sunday classes, I'd look forward to them. And I still thank Sri Devi deep in my heart today, because she's taken care of my little one. I'd carry her a feeding bottle, I'd take my little one, and I'd go along. And I said, I shouldn't miss this Sunday meditation class with Dr. Newton. And we'd go there, and we had wonderful experiences. And as you know, Harika, my daughter, she was in the womb, and she's attended a lot of sessions in the womb. So it has been a fascinating journey. And I am a student of life, continue to be. It's a lifelong
Wow.
process, and we are all works in progress. So still waiting, a lot of things unfolding, and I'm so happy to be sharing time and screen with Mamta today. And with Akila ma'am, I have a lot of respect for her. She may not know me personally. Mamta, of course, does. And I recall some very happy times with her. And I think we're all so blessed and fortunate to be part of this beautiful family. We were short of words.
Wow, so happy to know this. This is so amazing to have you all here on one screen together. Some signal from nature, I suppose. I wonder, everything has a meaning, everything is in sync with the universe. So, yes, let's get into the main experiences part. I'm so curious to know. So, Geeta ji, how was your first few experiences? Was it the past life regression training that you have attended first? And can you please
Uh,
share some of your past life experiences that have really helped you the most?
Um, Actually, if I know I didn't do the PLR first. I just in those days the 6 day trainings were not as frequent. I attended a lot of 2 day programs. Yes, I did do the initial PLR 2 day program along with my husband, and a lot of things unfolded. I wouldn't say I really went into any particular past life then. Uh, I went with an open mind. Many things came up, many things, and then over a period of time, uh, I realized, and I wouldn't say it happened during one workshop per se. It didn't happen just like that. Nothing unfolded. It happened over a period of time, over a period of years actually. And the first workshop I attended, 6 day training program, it was the other way around for me. It was the family constellation with which I resonate so well, and then it was the PNR for me. The 2 day workshop happened ages ago, and then as Akila ma'am said, it was now later, now later, now later, and then I realized that I just stopped trying. I said, no, there's nothing to try. It's going to happen when it's going to happen, and that's it. Uh, there were times much earlier, many years ago, in the earlier years, when I used to feel a little uncomfortable, saying that, oh, I'm not doing what I should be doing. I've met this wonderful person, and he's there to guide, and I'm not doing that much. I'm somehow getting caught in all this world, typically, all the samsaric responsibilities, and I need to be doing something more. That was a niggling thing that always used to be at the back of my mind, troubling me. One fine day, it just fell off because I would meet Dr. Newton occasionally over the Sunday classes, and I would share this with him, and he'd say it'll all happen in good time. And yes, that is what I've seen now. It's been a long journey. 18 years is a very long time, and the unfolding, it's like petal after petal, and each petal takes its own sweet time. And then I realized that there is nothing to hurry. There is no hurry at all, because for us, what we think of time as a linear. We think of today, tomorrow, 24 hours, 2 years, 18 years, but really doesn't matter, because your soul knows, and your inner self knows, your higher self knows. And so one fine day, it just dropped. It said, okay, I'm fine where I am. And the biggest lesson I learned from Dr. Newton is acceptance. One, saying yes to life, a big yes to life. The moment you do that, everything else just drops. And life just takes you along. And all you need to do is say yes and go with the flow. And the other thing is total acceptance of all that is. And many of us stay in denial. Many of us are always seeking. And one fine day, it just dawned on me that there is nothing to seek, it's all there. And that's when actually the journey began, in terms of reaching out to people, trying to do my bit, holding space for others. And those are lessons I have learned from uh, Dr. Newton and Lakshmi Garu, which I cannot thank them enough. I don't know, so fortunate to be here in this lifetime, and their presence in our lives. Dr. Newton always reminds me of a newborn baby. So much of innocence, vibrance. Uh, I just can't. I don't have words to explain that. This It's just as if he's just stepped into life like a fresh flower. It's just blossomed. The freshness, and every time you see him, the way he speaks, the aura. When you go there, I have personally experienced this. I go with a few questions and I say, okay, when the time comes, he's sitting there, he's answering other people, and I go and sit there, and then I say, okay, maybe one or two questions on my mind. But then I find it's been my personal experience, they just dissolve. The questions just dissolve on their own. And when I'm out of there, the answers are already there. And that is a true teacher, because a true teacher takes you just to the threshold of your own soul. He doesn't enter. The famous quote by Gibran. He doesn't have to push you. He just gently nudges you, and that's all that's required. So I've got so many of those nudges, and Dr. Lakshmi, what do I say about her? She reminds me of the most loving, firm mother. That's what she reminds me of. Uh, the mother principle is so strong in her. And when I see both of them together, I always say Prakriti and Purusha. And her love for nature, for flora, for fauna, and there's so much to learn by just being there, in her space. Um, so that journey has been incredible. And if I'm able to do even a bit of it, helping somebody somewhere, even one person, if I'm able to help hold space for that person, maybe just by listening, maybe by giving a few suggestions, maybe by taking them through a session, a small bit of counseling here and there. I really cannot boast of doing very much. I'm still waiting. Maybe a day will come when I will be able to fling myself completely into this. And I'm sure I'm waiting patiently, because I know the day will come. But whatever I have done, everything is surrendered to the masters. I have nothing more to say. Sessions, yes, there have been many, many incredible sessions. They were all not part of um, the, the 6 day retreat or a 2 day program as such. There have been sessions which have happened, there have been things which have happened after I've come back from these sessions. The family constellation was an eye opener in so many ways. And I resonate among all modalities most with the family constellation. And that is a modality I have used personally to help people too. And I think it is amazing. And to just watch Dr. Newton conduct a session is like, seeing an artist paint on an open canvas. His tools that he uses of compassion, the tools that he uses as a facilitator to help people is so amazing. And every time it's newer and newer and newer and newer. There is nothing you can say that, oh, I've seen this before, I've seen this happening before. It's never like that. And PLR sessions, yes, there were many. But the PLR 6 day was again a huge step forward. And I've gone into sessions. I firmly believe that you go only where you want to. I mean, where you need to go. Not everything opens up to you. There is a time and place for everything. So certain things unravel themselves in the most magical of ways, and opened me up to the soul plan that I had, and to the connections that I'm making now. What is their place in my life, and where I need to go from here. And uh, and that's about it. I've seen, like, I've had this connection with the Vedas and the Upanishads, and particularly the Gita. And I always used to wonder, because I've not done any formal no formal training in all of this, but it all just used to come to me. And I used to often wonder, it was a question, what is it that is. And I was always, if you were to look at the two great epics, I'd always connect more to the Mahabharata than the Ramayana. And I would connect very strongly with Krishna. I would connect very strongly with the Gita, and it would just come to me. I've never really learned the Bhagavad Gita the way people take classes, but it just come, and I often wondered. And this was answered during a few of my sessions, and that yeah, I've shared lifetimes in those times, and the very very strong connection that I had with the cosmic Vishnu, uh, and the strong connection with the Avatara Krishna. And that explained many, many things, many, many things. And the way forward also opened up from there. And so now I use that a lot in order to help or guide or extend a helping hand to someone who shows up in my life, because anyone who shows up is a teacher, and more of a teacher to me than me to them. And Well, that's about it. Uh, Maybe we can come back a little later, but I'd love to hear from the other two masters here.
Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you, Geetaji, for sharing these beautiful, amazing experiences and insights of yours. So much to learn. Yes. So, Akilaji, can you please share some of your experiences from your past lives or anything that you feel like sharing right now?
Okay. So thank you, Geeta. It was very nice listening to your journey. So I would also like to structure my answer in four parts, and I'll answer them over time. One is my own past life experience. One of them I'd like to share. The second is the experience of people I have regressed. Some very interesting stories there. The third is my interactions with LRA itself further. And the fourth, of course, is how meeting Dr. Newton has opened up an entire inner transformation. And there are many stages in that, which I will address at the end. So I will start with my own experience. I mentioned that during uh, the past life regression therapist training program, this was in December 2006. So again, over the first 2 3 days, my experiences were not very deep, so I just continued to go with the flow, enjoyed all the late night movies that were being shown, enjoyed the sessions, watching other people have very wonderful experiences. But personally, nothing much was happening. Then it was on a Thursday, and in the morning we had to go to the swimming pool. We were in Alankrita resorts, so we were spent some time in the pool, and then we were to come for the that day's session. So in the pool, I got very severe pains, body pains, and I was actually sort of so uncomfortable. I was thrashing about in the pool because I was unable to manage the pains. So there were a few other people from Alankrita also in the pool, so they were little concerned about my thrashing around. So Sridevi told me, I think Akila, you come out, something is happening. So just come out and take some rest at the side of the pool. So I came out and I sat for some time. And then we went back, got ready for the class, came in, and I was very exhausted. When the session started itself, I just told Sri Devi, I want to lie down at the back. My body is aching very much. So I was lying down there, and that day we were going to do the psychosomatic technique. That was the practice. So at that point, Dr. Newton suggested that I come on as a subject there for him to do the live uh, session. So I went and lay down on the floor. So we were all sitting around on the floor, and I lay down on a mat, and he started the session. And for that time, I had a past life where I went back as a Roman soldier. And I could describe my whole appearance. I had, a yellow shirt, a cap, I was wearing boots, and I was coming back quite young. I was walking through some very marshy area, and my feet were full of mud. My boots were all very dirty. So at some point, I saw a lake and I decided I would wash my boots and sort of clean up my feet. So I entered into the lake, and as I was washing, suddenly one alligator came and caught hold of my ankle. So immediately that pain came back during the session. So I was trying to pull out my sword and cut off the alligator's head, and the alligator was biting. There was pain in my ankle. It was very, very intense. So finally, what I did, I took off with my sword, I cut off my foot itself, uh, part of the ankle and the foot. So the alligator went off with its prize. So I was very exhausted, and it was very, very tough. I mean, I have not experienced that type of pain. It was the pain in the ankle which was troublesome. And then I just pulled myself up to the corner and lie down there, exhausted, nothing to do. Finally, I get one stick, I cut a stick from somewhere and hobble to the nearest village. And there's a wise old man who comes and he bandages that foot, whatever bone is sticking out, he cuts off all of that, bandages it, and I stay in the village. So the people in the village are very kind and considerate, they look after me. So now I teach mathematics to young children. Actually, mathematics has always been a favorite subject of mine, even in school. So I think it's come from some past lives. So I lived that life very quiet, nothing much to do in the village. And then the message that came at the end of that session is do whatever you can in the moment. It's not important to do great things. Whatever help you can bring to anybody in the moment, that's enough. That's a good purpose in life. And now to relieve this pain itself, Dr. Newton had to make me relive the experience at least 4 times. So in each time the pain became lesser and lesser and lesser. And in the last session, I was very spontaneously singing a song and telling the alligator, here's your prize, you take my foot and go. Very happily giving away my foot to the alligator without any pain. So these were very amazing experiences because by nature, I cannot create something out of nothing. I need a little time to think and then write. I can't sing spontaneously, make up words of a poem or, put a music tune to it. So it felt that I was just in a flow. I was being guided in some other way, and it was not my egoic mind or my personality trying to do it, but I was just an instrument for whatever to happen. So that was a very nice experience. And what happened was after the workshop, this happened in December. I remember sometime in March, I actually experienced a shift within me. I had had some problems at work, and though I was in an extremely senior position, I was one of the senior most executive lady executives on the management board. The person who was in charge of the Hyderabad center was somehow I felt not favorable to me and not giving me the right opportunities, and I felt bad about that. One day we were taking a walk near our house, and at that moment, I really felt the shift happen, saying, okay, that's fine. It's okay what he did. The relationship is healed. And when that paradigm shift happened, was when my ankle just dramatically had no pain after that. So this happened in 2007. So one of the things I realized is it's not just the past life experience alone that matters. It is the integration into your personal life, into your daily life. And that lesson is more important than the drama and the story around the past life experience. What you take away from that session. And it took me 3 months for that to come in. So that was a very deep experience for me. That how you could go into it. And after that, there were a lot of openings in sessions itself. I could relax more. I think earlier I had had a very, analytical, logical mind. Being in the computer industry, very mathematical. You want to analyze, yes, how, why. You don't open yourself easily. So, one of the things that Dr. Newton's workshop and that experience was that it opened up the right side of my brain, really. I mean, I wouldn't say I was such a left brain person. There was creativity. I used to paint, I used to draw, I used to write poems and all, even from school age. But somehow after that, I wrote a Life Positive article in May 2009. I wrote a series of articles for Life Positive. And then we had this rule that after the therapist workshop, you have to do 10 case studies and prepare a booklet. So I think Harika, you know about my case studies book. Very, very detailed notes for all the people by date, experience. And that really came out very satisfactory for me. So I will share some experiences of the people I regressed after maybe Mamta ji shares some. Thank you.
Sure, amazing, amazing, Akhilaji. I mean, I can't say it's so beautiful. Your past life experience is so wonderful. It is true, we cannot make up such a story at all. Even though I have heard so many past life stories in these many years, I've never heard one like this. It's so amazing. Thank you so much for sharing this beautiful experience. And I would like to hear from Mamtaji as well. Mamtaji, can you also share some of your first few experiences, maybe from past life regression?
Yes. So yes, my very after that 2 day workshop, my very first experience was the 6 day PLR. I would say the workshop, which was the first one that I attended, and I would say that the how it started. Each of the workshop that I went one after the other, I felt that Dr. Newton and Dr. Lakshmi were the master gardeners, and they were taking out the weeds one by one, from my life and sowing the right seed. So whenever I went there, I never went with any agenda. I mean, I had no programs or agenda to become a healer, or I felt like what is to heal, or without, as I said, I started my journey like that. But the very first time when I met them, I felt a very strong connections, invitation to meet myself at a deeper level. And as my friend Geeta was sharing a few minutes back, that seeing and meeting Dr. Newton and Dr. Lakshmi in itself is a healing process. You see them, and I get centered. I just don't need to do or practice anything at that moment. So there was always a childlike, curiosity, high level of desireness, if I may use the word in a positive way, or sort of a greed to run like a child, go and see them, meet them. And it always felt like I'm home. And then dear friends, the other sangha members, they themselves are the masters, and we all have past life connections, so fluttering like a butterfly in their company, learning so much from them. So there was always that kind of a childlike desire to take a flight or a train and run to QLU. So whenever a program was organized, a workshop, I never read the content of the program or why I'm going there. Oh, another 6 days, a new one, I should go. And I'm here with my family. I have daughters. We have a lot to work here. But somewhere that time, the universe supported me, because it was universe's plan. As I said, cosmic, intervention. So the universe supported me. Some of the other family members came to take care of my daughters, and I was there where, my heart or soul wanted to be there. But then I started realizing that, hey, you are not coming with any agenda, and you're thinking that it's okay. But layer after layer, things are coming up, and it's automatically you are getting put into the orbit of transformation. Number one, even I'm not aware, but the weeds, the master gardeners, without asking, they are taking away the weeds and sowing some or the other right seed into my life in every workshop. And uh, and you know uh, the other angles, just by observations, or maybe it's there in the vibration, as Geeta said, the learning compassion and unconditional love from them, the masters. uh, they are like that, I'm receiving, they are giving without asking. But when I went into the PLR, okay, we have gone for the workshop, let me learn something, let me do something, let me flow with the flow. And that is the time, first time it struck me about the concept of victim and perpetrator. Somewhere there was a thing that maybe I'm a victim of this life. And then I realized, the Gita said that, the concept of acceptance. First came awareness, and then it was followed by acceptance. And then the whole realization that pain is an evolutionary process. And it's not the eternal suffering. Suffering is our choice. And we have been given the free will to end this suffering. And then the whole beautiful realization that if it would have never rained, nothing would grow. So the whole, I don't know, I started saying, and I still say, there is gain in pain. And today, the acceptance of the whole thing, acceptance of pain, acceptance of self, acceptance of others, by accessing a lot of, past lives, like as mineral, plant, animal, recent ones. So we accessed all those. Life gave us a lot of insight, as Akhila ma'am said, that we don't need to get stuck into the story. So I never got stuck, took out the learnings, which is the pearls, from there. What are the learnings? Immediately try to apply and evolve and move on for the, next level to make this life better. So PLR was, I would say, that a good start in terms of acceptance, realizing that, pain is not a bad thing. It's not eternal suffering. We are not the victims. The whole concept of knowledge around, laws of karma, laws of universe, the soul science. So that gave me those things I was not having. And I personally felt that, oh, so many years I have been deprived about this knowledge. I have been living in ignorance. Neither my school nor my society, though they are the best and with the best of intent also, they have not been able to give me, these kind of knowledge. And because of these ignorance, maybe I was suffering. It was not the pain which was making me suffer or make others suffer. It's the ignorance of these kind of, knowledge or understanding. So that the moment I felt, the guru, who, the it means taking you from darkness to light. I think Dr. Newton, Dr. Lakshmi are the real gurus who took me, from darkness to light by providing these kind of knowledge, removing my ignorance. And till then, there has been a lot of very, I would say, profound desire in my heart that let me also contribute to the humanity by removing this ignorance. Simple laws of karma, laws of universe, laws of nature, even to the children. Why not, design a module and run them? Why they should, suffer in their 30s and then start, call themselves as in a mid life crisis, and then get into these kind of patchwork. I mean, I think I have done a patchwork or a reactive measures to myself. If it will be beautiful, if it is preventive. So PLR was, I would say, beautiful. And every workshop either took me higher, either took me deeper, or took me beyond. It's all those dimensions that is different than the earthly dimensions, and showed me that there are higher, deeper, beyond versions of the universe, the single song, and how I got connected with that one universe, which I was thinking, I am one, I am different, others are, different. See, amalgamation, a state of oneness. There are different lives and there are memories. And also, as Geeta said, that we don't stay with, the processes over there. It is very intense and profound and benefiting there in 6 days. But when we come back, it actually, the real work is happening in a real life. Like the last few months, I've spent a lot of time, though I'm not a student of science, studying neuroscience, biology, the brain, and mixing, marrying the spirituality and science together. Because when you talk to the logical mind, when you talk to the children, they need the logical answers, the scientific answers, which is tested, experimented, not just, the emotional or feeling based answers. So a lot of work is going on, because, as I said, masters sowed the seed there. And here we also keep working and transforming, and it's going on. And maybe next time, I would like to definitely share a couple of more around family constellation and LBL. So over to you, friends. Yeah.
Sure, that's amazing. Thank you, Mamtaji. And Geeta ji, can you also please share some more of your experiences?
Yeah, at this point of time, sitting here listening to them, something did come to me. There was a very interesting thing that happened during the PLR, the penultimate day. We had gone through so many techniques, but much before that, before I went for the PLR, which I shared with Mamta, In fact, it's surprising that PLR happened so late in my life, because I never really felt the need for it. I never signed up for any of those retreats. It was just there in so many years, and I never really felt the need. And then there was that thing. Why am I not going for this? Why am I not? And I'd ask Dr. Newton, and he'd just give me that beautiful smile. It'll happen when it has to happen. You don't need it right now. So when it did happen, a lot of things surfaced. But this one interesting thing I would like to share for the people who are viewing, um, if it gives them some kind of perspective. Uh, Over a period of a few, I wouldn't say years, maybe a year or so, a strange thing was happening to me. I'd go to sleep and I'd wake up somewhere in the middle of the night uh, with a, a typical picture. I'd feel throttled and strangled. That was the feeling that would wake me. But just before that would be a picture of me getting stuck in a dress. I'd like to explain this a little vividly. As ladies, maybe we wear a kurti or something and we're trying to get out of it, and I'm trying to get out of the dress. It's not happening, and it's getting stuck at my chest, especially as my solar plexus, my chest, and my throat, and I'm struggling. And that was the picture. I wouldn't call it a dream because it was very real. It wasn't dream state at all. And the moment that picture came, I knew that I was going to get suffocated. And then I would sit up, I'd be sweating. And this kept happening. It kept happening. I tried to find explanations. I was wondering whether I'm getting into one of those panic attack things or what it is. So in one of the Sunday sessions, I just put it to Dr. Newton, and that was quite some time back. And he said, "Okay, we'll look into it." And he just smiled, and okay. I said, "Now I've handed it over. Let it be there." But it kept happening. Sometimes it would be 2 3 days in succession. Sometimes it would not happen, and then after a week. But then the 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 picture was vivid. The experience was the same every time. And then one fine day, as I was working, I was in the kitchen actually, and I wasn't even mulling over this. It just struck me that probably, I'm not very comfortable here in earth space, and maybe my soul is trying to sort of get out of the body. That was the metaphor. And I said, okay, I put it there. I said, maybe I must talk to Dr. Newton about this and find out whether this explanation uh, justifies what I'm feeling. And believe you me, it is a very terrible experience because you're right there in the middle of the night for an hour, you're going through this. And I was wondering whether I should see a doctor, but I've never believed in that. And because I've believed in psychosomatic disorders, I know that most of what we go through is from the mind to the body. It has different explanations, and one doesn't need to really run. You have to find and seek those answers, and they will come, and the healing will happen, as Akila ji's ankle healed. So I had that faith, that inner knowing, and I knew that my higher self was giving me that answer. That probably there is this, because I'd always, as I told you earlier, also I'd always have this feeling of, do I really belong to this place, kind of thing. That would crop up once in a while. Although I went through life, I had no unhappiness as such. The typical ups and downs that happen in everyone's life, but I had no complaints with life, and I was taking things as they come. But occasionally, this would surface. Do I really belong here? And this has been happening since my childhood. A lot of questions. So I left it there, and then came along PLR. And I remember it was late night, and my session was the last for the day when Dr. Newton we were doing the Christus technique. And I went up there, and I intuitively knew that I would get an answer to this that day. And so he took me through what is called as homing, you know. And I went through an entire spectrum of visions, or whatever they can be called. One was a clear past life, where I saw myself. Even at that point of time, I didn't want to. It was extremely intense, extremely intense. I had 2 days of severe headache after that, where I saw myself as, that was the first half of it, where I saw myself as the father of Krishna, as Nanda. And I did do a lot of investigation because we don't know much about Nanda. We just know that, yeah, he Krishna was handed over to Nanda by Vasudeva, and then That's where he grew up, and that's about all. But then I saw an entire lifetime of Nandas and the pain that he underwent when Krishna went away from him, and then, that he died of a. I can still hear Dr. Newton's voice in my ears asking, you go to your last days on, and I said that I'm dying of a heart ailment. And I remember coming back and, checking and finding out, okay, not many people know how Nanda died. Nobody knows. There's so much talk about Yashoda. And I remember that sensation, of feeling as a father that, how much Yashoda and Krishna connect. And somewhere I'm out of the picture. That was the feeling. And there was this terrific yearning for this little boy, Krishna, and the sadness that is going away. And so much of that experience. And then I realized that, okay, this was where my connection came from. That was one half of it. And then when we did the homing, uh, he took me to a dimension where I realized that I had come from Pleiades, and I remember my answer saying that, yeah, I come from that realm, from Pleiades. And then he asked me, how do you communicate? How do you, and what is your purpose? And then I remember talking about multiverses. I can see with my eyes open. I can see now that there is life everywhere. It's just not a universe. We are not a universe, although we say it for the purposes of speaking and for purpose of dialogue. But it's not just the universe. It's a huge, 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 unimaginable multiverse out there, and we are these little specks, and we are on a one beautiful journey. There's so much to learn, so much to integrate. And after that one session where the homing, and he said, you need to get grounded here. There is that bit of you that, deep inside feels that you don't belong here. You're from somewhere else, and that's why. So you need to ground. You need to home. This is your home. You need to accept it. And that's when the homing happened, actually. And after that, this hasn't happened after that. This feeling of suffocation, and it was such a vivid thing. A time came when I would be afraid to go to sleep. I'd say, oh my God, this is going to happen to me again. you know Irrespective of what I'm wearing, one fine moment, maybe at 2 or 3 a.m., I'm going to feel that I'm going to take off my clothes, and I'm not able to take them off, and I'm all stuck, and I'm throttled, strangulated, feeling suffocated, sweating. And that just didn't happen after that homing experience. And that was such a beautiful experience. I cannot really verbalize it. It's there deep inside in every cell of me. And after that, I have accepted that I'm here with a purpose. And going back to what Akhilaji said, uh, there is no such thing as a grand design, and there are no comparisons, and there is no such quantum of work that you need to establish. Every little thing that you do, every little bit that you do is enough. And that brings me back to what Dr. Newton always says. He's taken classes on this, saying, I am enough. Most of us go through life very mechanically, and all the time, perhaps it's put into us by our very loving parents, or school, or society, that you're not enough in some way. That's a very important learning that I've gleaned somewhere. Something, it's just put into us unwittingly. It's not that someone wants to destroy us. It's done because we are all evolving. Everybody is evolving. But this I am not enough is somewhere there. It was there with me. And so I'd always keep going back to say, am I not doing enough? Whether it is for family, whether it is spiritual work, whether it is learning, I'd always feel that. And but that one day put an end to that. And I came back knowing that, yes, I am enough in every way. And the road ahead is what you choose it to be. And you have a choice. At every step, you have a choice. And when you make that choice, all you need to do is you're there at the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, and accept it. Then that's all. And I am going to be ever, ever, ever thankful to the masters for having put me in that space, and for having held that space for me so beautifully, with
Wow.
so much patience, so much graciousness. And that gratitude is too small a word, too small a word. But yeah, I just did want to share this experience. There was also another experience where that was among the very first experiences, where I met a light being. I channeled too many things happened in that first experience. First, I channeled my father-in-law, whom I had just lost, and he gave me very beautiful lessons. And I came out wondering whether I was hallucinating, whether I was imagining, and Dr. Newton said, no, none of this is imagination. It's all there. Don't worry. And I think that's what happens to many people who go through this, you know. And as Mamta said, I'd never gone into any space with any agenda. There was nothing. It was just an open mind. Let's see what happens, what is out there for me. And I think that is a very beautiful thing, because then, you know, you leave the canvas clear, the slate is clean, and then the divine or grace or the masters can write, they can paint, they can do whatever they want. So I think that's very beautiful. And yeah, going in with questions and with an agenda has a beauty of its own. For me, it was more like Mamta's experience. I always would go with one clean canvas out there and wait for the painting to happen. So many beautiful paintings have happened, many of them, in every modality. I've connected with the inner child. I've connected with the generations before me, and those experiences are invaluable. They are treasures which I will carry in this lifetime and in lifetimes to come. And I know for now sure that, you know, this Sangha, you Harika, there's Loknath, there's Pavan, and there's a whole lot of beautiful people who are doing such lovely work. And you're all so truly blessed. And I'm blessed. We're all blessed to be part of this huge family. And I think my children are blessed, all our children are blessed, because they're going to see this beautiful university coming up. And perhaps we'll come back again to be part of the university, maybe younger and doing more work. I don't
Yes.
know. Yes, probably. And that's a definite dream, a definite dream. Thank you,
Yeah.
Harika.
Thank you, Geeta ji. That is beautiful. That's so beautiful. I don't feel like talking today. So I just I want all of you to keep sharing your experiences because they are all so profound, so beautiful. I just I feel lost in those experiences. I feel like all the viewers are also journeying along with you and taking in all of that energy and wisdom that you are sharing. Thank you so much. And yes, Akila ji, can you please continue sharing your wisdom, more of yours, and which you have planned to share with us?
Um, so yes, so thank you, Harika, again. So one of the things that, like I said, having this first workshop does did open my mind. So over the years, I have read many books, attended many other meditation retreats. I was, you know, fortunate to be given an opportunity to work at LRA on behalf and start treating patients. So I remember I just told Dr. Newton, I'd like to do that. And I used to go from my office, I would tell my boss, I need to go and do a session. And he was very sweet. He said, okay, you can go for a few hours and come. So I would take out during the day, depending on how people were available, and do that. So I learned a lot from doing sessions for other people. Right from the beginning, I never planned to take this as a career where I would earn money from it. I just felt that, if I could just do it and learn, I felt my learning from those sessions was even more than any monetary benefit that I would get. So I never had an intention to put up a board and do this or conduct these type of workshops. But I was very happy to be part of the group and do whatever I could. So I like to share two experiences. I know if I go back and read all my notes at LRA, I'm sure I'll find a lot more gleanings from people, but some of them stuck out. And one of these was a young girl, maybe in her early 30s, who came for a simple reason of saying, I want to understand my life purpose. So I always used to feel PLR covers a couple of major areas. If you have relationship issues, you can work on them. If you have health issues, you can work on them. If you have fears and phobias and which are not explainable for due to any experience in the current life. They're very useful. And then, of course, one was your own spiritual development. So this girl came for that reason. So she was getting very nice messages during the session. So at one point, she had a question: am I making this all up, or is this really happening? So she voiced that question out to me. So I said, wait for an answer. I didn't want to give her any answer. And then the answer that came is, firstly, there is no you and me. Okay? You are not thinking, I am not thinking, nothing like that. Every thought you have is coming from me. You cannot think, do anything without my support. This was like a message from the master. She's just talking it out, you know. I am the person who gives everything to you, and you are not different from me. So, you don't need to understand anything of your purpose at this point in time. You don't need any more sessions. How your life journey will unfold will be revealed to you at the right time. So, don't try to get ahead of the game. Just wait and be open. Trust trust the process. Believe in the higher power, huh? And just know that finally, since there is no you and me, everything that happens, it's like different parts. Like if you take a tree, you can't say, you know, is the leaf more important than the root, or is the fruit more important, or is the stem more important? Or like they say, the normal joke, when all the, you know, parts of the body decided to have an argument about who is better or who is worse, you know, who is the higher power? Is it the heart? Is it the brain? Is it the stomach? Then they realize that unless they work in cooperation, the body doesn't function. So it was exactly that message that came through. If we stop feeling ourselves as separate, but if we believe that we are all some part of the machine which works, we don't need to, you know, addle our poor brains with too much thinking and analysis. Just whatever you have to do, you do to the best of your ability. So I think some of these patterns that are very deep within, for example, being judgmental of other people, you know, being critical of their work, you know, it helped me so much in my work, because I had this whenever we had to send a mail to a client or something, and you know, my team member would draft it out. You know, I had one girl who joined as a BSc graduate, and then when she comes into my room, I used to ask her a few more questions. So she said, ma'am, before I come to your room, I try to think what questions will Akila ma'am have ask me so that I can come prepared. And she said, every time I come, you will ask me one more question which I had not thought of. So it was not from a critical point of view. It was to enable that person to raise their level of performance. And that was what I found very nice. If you stop criticizing people, if you can tell them gently, of course, it's not that your performance or your contribution is the best. There can definitely be something better than what we are doing. But whatever you understand at that moment, if you can help the other person raise their level without being critical and judgmental, that was something that came across in that message, saying, you and me are not separate. And you know, you don't have to worry about that. It was a very simple, that lady had only two sessions, and then at the end of the second session, she said, yes, I got my answer. I don't have to worry. I just have to go with the flow, because the picture is much, much bigger than what we can comprehend at this moment. So that was a very nice, short, simple session which I had. The second was somebody who was again a very qualified doctor, a very senior lady, but she had the problem that whenever she sat in meditation, she would only see blackness. She could just not meditate. And I know Dr. Newton had also done a lot of sessions for us. And in this same workshop, I was thinking she is a very difficult person to have any experience with. And as fortune would have it, or as the higher powers designed it, whenever we were paired up, she was paired up with me on the last day. So I said, oh my goodness, now I'm going to have a real challenge. If Dr. Newton could not regress her, what am I going to do with her? But it just shows that whatever you have a doubt about, whatever you resist, that is exactly what you need to learn at that moment. So when we started the session with her, we used two techniques. One was, using the psychosomatic. She would get terrific pain in her abdomen, and she could just not progress beyond that pain. So I gave her a pillow, I propped it up, and I said, "You now you feel," and go into that. So luckily, she had a breakthrough by her own good fortune. And then she said her experience was that she had been in a very native tribe. She was kidnapped by another tribe, and what they did was they tied her. I mean, it's a little ghastly, but don't mind because at the end of it, it's all nice. They tied her between two trees, her legs to one tree and her hands to another tree, made her upside down, and then they emptied out her internal organs, her abdomen, her stomach, her pancreas, her liver. They took it all and they were cannibals and they were going to eat it, cook it and eat it. And this lady was in agony with the pain. They were not bothered about what they had done to her. So the abdominal pain was coming from that. So it was an effort to help her get over that pain. She really was in terrific pain. But she was able to now say that this pain came from the memory of that experience. And when she could get rid of that through breathing and healing and reliving and forgiving them, her message came was, I want to forgive them because they just don't know the impact. That is their level of wisdom, or you can call it ignorance. Let us say wisdom itself. That is their level of wisdom at this point in time. So bless them that they can learn something more about how to not harm people. But from my side, they did not do it personally. In one of those four agreements, one of the statements is it is not personal. So when something happens to you, it is not because that person is targeting you. That is their level of thinking. This is how they want to behave. It's nothing personal. So she learned that, and she learned to forgive them. Then she still wanted to know what was her purpose in life. She was very keen to know that. So we used the Christos technique, and then her, aura expanded and expanded and expanded. And then the message she got was, look, it is now for you to spread this knowledge. You're already a doctor. Spread that healing can happen through accessing these past life memories. Teach people meditation. And your family commitments are sort of over. Your children are grown up, they're all comfortable. So devote yourself to what you can do for the community. In this way, she probably has done a lot for the community as a doctor for other people, but this is an other way that can come. So that was also a nice message for me that continue to do whatever good you can. And I remember Sri Devi always used to encourage. She says, don't wait till you're perfect to say you'll do something. You start. The perfection will come with time. Don't expect that that you need to become a master before you share. Everybody has something to share. Everybody has some wisdom within them, and you never know whom it can help. You may be thinking that it is a very small experience you're sharing, but it can strike a note, a chord with somebody. So be open. It's okay if you make mistakes, but we learn from our mistakes, we learn from our sharing, and we learn from other people sharing. So be very open to that. So some of those experiences, getting an opportunity to work in LRA. After that, I've had people come at home also. Most of the time, I used to counsel them rather than have everybody go through a session. I'll say, look, this, you take care of it. Some young people came saying we don't find our life purpose. So I did a session for them, but I said, see, don't expect your answers from within, from a session itself. The session lays the groundwork for you to be open to receiving answers from the universe. So don't be disappointed that in my session I didn't have a regression experience, nothing came out of it. Your soul connections, your soul energies are soothed in the session, and then you're preparing the ground for things to come. So be very open to that. So those were some of the experiences of people. Of course, in my breath work itself, one was that while we went through the earth and the fire and the water and all that, the best I had was after when we do the breath work and we keep on breathing faster and faster, and you find all the energies flowing into you. The last was when, after the relaxation, I remember Sridevi being with me at that time because so much energy was flowing into me. So she held my ankles and then she held my wrists and she said, "Calm down, calm down, calm down." And then I felt there was I could have a vision of a very big hall. Okay. And then I'm walking through that hall, and at the end of it is Jesus sitting there. And he just takes me in his lap and holds me. I'm a person, I'm not an old person, but you feel like the lap, the father, mother, all the love, all the security, all the peace, the reassurance, the fact that you're very well looked after. There's nothing to worry. Life is good. So that was a very remarkable experience during that one of my sessions in the workshop. And of course, lots of learning from there. If we have
Wow.
time, I'll share the transformations that have happened over time if we have time. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Akilaji. That was amazing. Thank you for sharing some of your case studies as well. And yeah, we get to know what all can block us from seeing our past life experiences, and how we can relive and relieve out of that pain, and how beautifully this woman has chosen to forgive those people with such deep understanding after so much. It is unimaginable. It's so beautiful also when we think about it. So good, so good. So thank you, Akilaji. Yeah. And Amitaji, can you also share a few of your experiences?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you so much, Akila ma'am, for sharing what all share. I don't know, but for me, I'm feeling and realizing right now that right now at this moment, we in itself, it looks like a healing and transformative, conversations. Whatever uh, Geeta shared, resonated. I resonated a lot. Whatever Akila ma'am is she just shared, looks like a lot of messages were for me. A lot of things that I was going through in last couple of months, and now again she's saying is the I would say assurance from the universe, a confirmation that Geeta said that I am enough. Ma'am said that don't wait for perfection. Sri Devi ma'am said that don't wait for perfection. The bigger plans, there is a bigger plan, we don't know. So just flow, go on, take step by step, because we want to wait for the perfect moment. Am I prepared? I'm not ready, I don't know enough. These kind of things start coming up within, and it keeps stopping us from getting into the work that we want to do or we can do. A lot of thank you so much. That in itself has been a very right at this moment has been a very enlightening or assuring moment from for me, at least. What all both of you shared. So I'm going to share quickly about the one of the very most transformative events that happened at QLU. Yes, first is the inner child, of course, is one of the very beautiful workshop, and I always pray to God that if you have to bless everyone with this workshop. And from this workshop, and that during meditation process there, the logo of my company came out. So I've recently, very recently, started the company, and I don't know, today when I look back, the logo was fully framed. And when sir does that clay exercise, we sit and we make things. The whole logo was made there. I was not aware at that time what it is and what it is not. I clicked the pictures with the clay, and I remembered that one moment that during that time I had put all my soul into it. And when masters are present, like Dr. Newton, Dr. Lakshmi, you know that the divine work automatically happens. And today it's the logo of my company, and very soon, maybe, if time permits, later on I'll share. And I've just started with my company's work of improving the life of others, where I was going through the same feeling that, do I know everything? Am I enough at this moment? Am I prepared? Am I perfect in terms of know-how? So, but still, I'm pushing, and universe is pushing me towards that. So Inner Child gave me that logo, and today it's the company logo that is there. Perfectly it was made there, and if I show you today and the picture of that time, you will see. So thank you so much, the masters over there. And then one of the family constellation was again very unique to me. And family constellation, I have a lot of regards and gratitude to Dr. Lakshmi. When I use the word doctor, it binds them into a very limited framework. She's much more beyond, replica of Aishwarya to me. She's something, very, very different. And in family constellation, when that 7 generations and 4 generations, and she was sitting there, I don't know what magic she did. I could really connect with 7 and the 4 generations. And I knew that something very powerful healing, there's something very powerful was happening there. And I took a lot from that workshop. And while I was there on the last day, returning from the flight, coming to Bangalore, whole journey, I kept on thinking, who's my guru? Who's my guru? What is this guru? Is there need to be a guru? So the guru thing kept on coming. And I landed, I came to my house, and after a week, so for me, QLU, Dr. Newton, Dr. Lakshmi has been equal to miracles and mysticism also. I have experienced many there and many after here. So when I came from FC workshop, and I was sleeping in the night after a week, and I was sleeping with my husband, and I could see outside the window. It was roughly 2 in the night, and I was sleeping slumber. I was in slumber, deep sleep, and there was a study table and chair very near to my head, and I all of a sudden, smell thousands of roses and sandalwood in my room. And my eyes got open. So it was not a dream. And I kept on smelling. And I felt someone is sitting on the chair. And the moment I raised my hand towards the chair to reach, I was completely frozen. My eyes were open and I could smell those. And I thought, let me wake my husband to, he should also smell what's happening, and someone is there. But I could not see that someone. I could feel that someone behind me. And then the whole aura, the whole room was filled with those fragrance, very divine fragrance, as if, I was in Himalayas. And when I tried to wake up my husband, I was frozen with my voice also. So when I wanted to speak, it was like, but I could not speak. I was lying, and I kept on, diving into that fragrance. And when I woke up, I was like a elephant, which is kind of totally controlled by that fragrance. I'm doing my household chores, but the fragrance is there with me. It was amazing, divine, and mesmerizing. And after that, there one day a dream, I saw a face, but I could not understand who the person is. I saw very clear smiling face, very big face. I could not understand that who is this person and why the person is coming in my dream. Looks like someone's grandfather, but and then there were, like, for a couple of months, there's some or the other feeling that someone is there. I started getting answers in Punjabi, though I'm not Punjabi. I started getting some of the answers directly in Punjabi, falling as and so very beautiful experiences. But I was very fearful also, because I would feel that someone is there in my house with me. But later on, after 2 months, I understood, the face that I saw in dream was somewhere, it came in front, and later on I Googled and I found that it's that Guru is no more there in terms of body, and he's the direct incarnation of Lord Shiva. And that's the way I got and came into it. And he was born in Punjab, and he's very famous across the world. And I've never seen him, I've never met him, I've never known him. He and So a lot of things related to that. Anyways, I moved from there, and that was an amazing, again I would say, a lot of things, miracles after miracles. I could see Om very clearly. When I'm making chapati in my roti, Om would come up very clearly. So all the signs and symbols related to Shiva started coming up. But I was very playful and very busy in my corporate as well as my family life. In the meantime, kept on doing social work or coaching, seva and satsang whenever life permitted, in small ways. So I moved from there, and then I was going for LBL. So moved from FC to LBL. LBL, I was, along with many others, was a first student. I take that joy. First batch, and that first batch of students, and first program of QLU was the LBL, when they started the first program, inaugurated QLU. So I had to go because I have to meet the masters and my Sangha friends. That's all. LBL, I don't know what is LBL, but a week before LBL, when I was in my house, I again saw a dream, and I got, that saying, Shiva is standing and saying, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. And I woke up and I really sit and I see the complete, shape of Shiva in the corner and the complete vibrations going. And next day morning, the answers, came in Punjabi that I have given you my blessed darshan. So, but I used to take it, feel, vibrations and many other things, but again get busy with, our day-to-day life. And after a week, I landed in LBL program. And that was the moment, I would say, at QLU for me. It was Kartik Purnima, November 2017. And LBL, first 2 or 3 days have gone, and it was beautiful. And we are accessing life between lives, and many of those, answers and messages coming from accessing various lives between lives. And then it was on the Kartik Purnima day, we had good food. And after having good food and sitting in the pyramid in AC, we all want to sleep. But and sir said, I'm going to take all of you for the group meditation, and it will be a guided one. I'll do a group LBL. So we said, okay. And everyone next to me, kind of started sleeping, taking their position. I said that, Mamta, you have left your 2 daughters and came to Hyderabad so far, to learn something. So be a good student, sit down. So I sat very nicely with erect back, and I just gave one instruction to my mind. And that instruction I gave, totally again unaware. I just said, follow your guru. And Dr. Newton started the session. I think it was 1.5 hour or approx 2 hours of complete detailed LBL group meditation he did. And I started, going to various, and then Council of Ministers. I'm cutting short. I'm not sharing the whole journey into that, which was again very profound. And every, I would say, scene has a meaning and a message. But towards the end, it was Council of Ministers, and I go, and they show me a white feather, and they guide and show me towards up. I look up and I go up, I mean, near that, and it was shapeless, the ultimate source, the Nirakar, the light. And I'm also a vibration of light. And it's a huge vibration of light. And I'm vibrating. And that time, inside the pyramid, it was dark, but my whole face and eyes were like, very like everyone is blowing thousands of light in my eyes and my face. So I thought maybe Sridevi ma'am or people who are there, they are doing so. But I am feeling here, high vibrations, and water is started coming out from my feet and hand, lights, and but I'm not opening my eyes. I'm totally there. I'm thinking that why are they putting so much of light on my face? And the vibrations over there, and then my question is, who are you? And then the light says, the vibration says, and that What's there in name? What's there in name? I do things without name. Go and spread the light. And that was not 1 or 2 minutes of a dream or my mind. I know it was not my mind. It was meeting the ultimate source, the ultimate, the creator, which is shapeless. I could see vividly. I could feel the vibrations. The vibrations were there. And, that feather is in my hand. And then, we had a beautiful conversation. And then, guided by Sir, we come back to our body in that moment. And when I opened up, I was not in my sense. I met you and I lost myself in you. I could not manage my mind and body because I was not here in the pyramid, and my full body was shivering, water was coming out, tears were coming out, nothing. And I felt that what's happened to me. And see the beauty of the masters, we all are sitting in silence. And then Dr. Newton says, Mamta, you come and share. It means, somewhere he knew that there's something. As why I never raised my hand, I never said anything. In the whole crowd, he said, you come up and say, share. And I don't know, when I reached up there, I'm shivering. I want to speak, but I have been numbed, I have been choked. How can you speak after meeting the divine, the ultimate source? Can you speak? And even if I want to, how do I describe? I'm holding the mic and I'm crying. I'm crying. And I'm looking at Dr. Newton, that what he has done to me. I'm no more me. And then I try my level best, and I'm just, my tears coming out. And बहुत मुश्किल से, I could say 2 words that, you know, where are we looking for love? It's not outside, it's inside. Because I felt I met love, the light, the unconditional love. And believe me, friends, it's so powerful and it's so real that at this moment also, I have connected. And any moment, even if I'm buying, anything for my daughters in the market, I could immediately connect and tears start coming out. And people might say that she's mad or she's abnormal, but that's the beauty that, everything is gone inside me. And, the power, the light, and the love and the vibrations, I could still feel anytime, howsoever busy, when I'm cleaning the utensils, I can feel. And that's what, the everlasting gift or experience Dr. Newton gave me. And then I said that, find a guru, because it's only guru that who can, lead you to such a god. And I just gave one instruction: follow your guru, Mamta. You have come from far, leaving your 2 daughters. Follow your guru. And it was that complete blind faith, to. And then I realized, to have a blind faith in guru, we need to do only one thing: surrender. And believe me, I could understand, I could not explain that what is surrender, because the moment what I did at that time was a surrender towards my guru. And then I realized that every time Guru is taking to us to the higher levels, every time Guru is taking us the beautiful things, but are we receiving? Every time they are giving, but are we receiving? Are we open? Have we, completely surrendered? So that was the beautiful moment. And like it has been very nicely said in one of the holy scriptures, that you give a dumb person a sweet jaggery, and then he's eating, and then you say, now explain the sweetness of jaggery. Can a dumb person explain, the sweetness? So how can I explain that profound, divine, I don't know what experience you call it. It's so beautiful. I wanted to write many a times. I could not. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I took a lot of time. Then Dr. Lakshmi taught me how to lie down, because I had taken a lot of energy over me when I came down from there. Every participant in the pyramid in the room was crying. They could feel without me saying anything. And then Mother Earth, nature, I hugged them, to whatever extra energy was there, to, give that thing. And that was a very, very transformative, that everything is inside. I am the love, I am the light, I am the part that we all have been saying. And very nicely, Guru Granth Sahib has said that, Koi aan milave mera pritam pyara. If someone would come and make me meet my beloved, I would sell my life entirely to that person. And this is what Dr. Newton has done to me, and Dr. Lakshmi. So it's so amazing, so beautiful. And from there, the ultimate source, now I feel every day the streams of transformation, the streams of learning, the streams of joy, the streams of falling down and again rising up. Keeps coming even in our day-to-day life, as I don't feel that I have been fully transformed, I have achieved transformation, because it's a journey, not a destination. When I complete one orbit, I am pushed to another orbit, and fresh level of challenges come. But I think I am equipped enough, aware enough to face those challenges. I mean, my masters have given me enough courage to see my own film, to see my own life as a film, and to face these challenges with a courage and with a smile. So very, very beautiful, very beautiful. I mean, I would never forget this experience ever. And this is the ultimate gift, that blessings, I would say. Gift is a small word, blessings is that my masters have given to me. Geeta said that gratitude and thank you would be small. It's completely, yes, like her, I'm also waiting to come back. Very beautiful messages. You're getting free from your family. My daughters are growing up. Yes, looking forward to come back to do and learn and study and play again with all my other Sangha friends. So thank you so much to my masters. I complete bow down to the primal being.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mamtaji. This is so beautiful, so beautiful, and so amazing that yes, even I have lost words again. Each one of you are sharing such deep, profound experiences that our masters also don't want this episode to end so soon. They want to hear more and more from all of you. So, yeah, I would like to continue, and I request Geeta ji also to share some more of her experiences. Thank you.
Yes, Harika, it's been the last 10 minutes or more. I've been kind of lost with Akila ma'am's sharing, and even more lost with Mamta's sharing. And it's I don't know, it's truly a blessing to be part of this. And as Mamta said earlier on, that right now, at this very moment in time, there is some transformation happening, there's healing happening. There's not a moment when something does not happen. It's just that, you just need to connect to it and stay connected. And if I were to talk about experiences, yeah, there are many, many. And as Akila ma'am said, if I could refer to notes, I have this habit of writing everything down. So many would come up. But I've had something very similar to Mamta's. And when you have that kind of an experience, it's extremely difficult to verbalize it because you're coming from a completely different dimension. So I can completely connect to that. And more importantly, as she said, see, when we come here, we all come with some kind of craving for the source. And that craving expresses itself in different ways according to our karmic, whatever we've come here with. Some amount of baggage, some of it we relieve it in this lifetime, and some of it we carry on, we take it on, and we learn, we evolve, we develop. But there is always that craving for the source. We're looking, and that's why we say seeker. What are we seeking? We're just seeking to connect to the source which is nameless, which is formless. Um, and we all choose our paths. It could be anything. It could be bhakti, it could be pure karma, it could be in service, it could be any way we choose. Every path leads to the same same source. But the way we go about it, what happens, what I have seen, even in the people that I have counseled, or where I completely resonate with what Akila ma'am said, which is, coming down from that dimension. We were lost in a dimension for some time, which is so beautiful. We do not want to come away from there, typically. But coming to the more mundane and the more practical aspect of this whole thing, uh, what happens is, when we're talking to people, when we're trying to hold space for them, uh, healing happens for us too. Healing happens for us first. But what we generally see, or what I have seen come across, is that there's a lot of turbulence. There's a lot of lack of understanding, and there is always this person sitting who is always looking for something. I remember once Dr. Newton's words so clearly, that don't go with a begging bowl. Don't go with a begging bowl. You have it all in you. You do not have to go with a begging bowl. So if I think, as healers and as facilitators, if we can kindle that spark, I think that is more than enough work done, because that's the spark that our own masters have kindled, telling us that we are into our own, the very light that we are seeking. And there it is, all inside and outside and everywhere. And you do not really have to go around with a begging bowl. You need to know that your cup is overflowing. And once you are there in that space, then all that you do, you're always in Sahaj Samadhi. As she said, whether you're cooking, whether you're doing something as mundane as, washing your vessels, or doing something very simple, or maybe being with your child, or doing housework, or doing your own work in your professional sphere, it gives you an intense sense of fulfillment, because you know that you're doing the right thing, because you never feel incomplete once you've accessed source at that level. As she just said, once that access, that barrier is broken, it's broken forever. And I did have a similar experience, where I connected with that cosmic source, and I had a very long conversation. And at any point of time right now, that experience, I will never say, I mean, because it's as long as 17, 18 years ago, but I feel it is right now happening. It's that fresh, and I'm sure she'll agree with me, because it's that fresh, it's vivid, it's there right now, because that connection is established. It never really goes away. What is important is not the story. I will go back to what Akila ma'am said. She made such a beautiful, valid point. What is important, whether you're reliving a past life, whether you're going through a family constellation experience, whether you're, working with the inner child, whether you're battling some inner demon, which is, a part of some experience which you've had in a past life, it all boils down to the fact, and this is again what Dr. Lakshmi keeps saying, it's not the story that is important. The story is there, well and good. The story is just part of the tapestry. What is important is whether it is 6 days or 6 months, or 6 years, maybe sometimes it does take that kind of time, depending on your capacity to integrate, your willingness. More than the capacity, I think the right word is willingness. You need to be open and willing to integrate. Integration is the key word. The learnings come, the messages come, because the source does not discriminate. There is no one lesser, no one better. There is no ordinary mortal or extraordinary mortal. And in real terms, uh, there is no guru and no seeker. You are your master unto yourself. And even when the source connects to you, source makes it uh, clear to you that you are the captain of your ship. You are the captain of your soul. You are that, and there is no difference. Because in terms of transformation, what happened to me is, when you get into that space, for example, when I go to the Sangha, when I'm there at the academy, it's a very non judgmental space. And I think that is where we all resonate. Because when we come back to our own orbits of our world, our samsara, there is a lot of judgment, self judgment, judgment of others. Maybe willingly, maybe unknowingly, unconsciously. We keep doing it sometimes. The most well intentioned person also does commit that. And it's okay, it's all right. One should not judge oneself very harshly. That's a very big lesson. And the biggest lesson is you start working with yourself and work with a lot of compassion towards yourself. That is very important because the first thing I think we are taught is to judge ourselves right from when we are children. We tend to judge. And when we go to the Sangha, when we are with the masters, why does their aura heal us? The aura heals us because, as she said, they are gardeners and they are preparing the ground. The soil is being prepared, the weeds are being pulled out, all the correct ingredients are being laid, the right seeds are being sown. And then when you move out of there, you are that patch of soil, and then you need to do the work. The seeds are there, and the gardeners are always available. But you have to be prepared. You have to you have to say, I'm willing to grow the most beautiful flowers or the most beautiful tree. And I'm just willing to be there because all that unweeding is done. And time and again, they're always there for you. The source is always there. You connect or choose to disconnect. The choice is yours. And if you choose to stay connected, once that connection is established, then you just know that you really don't need to do anything much at all. I'm in that space now, and that's where I'm talking from. Um, so if this is helping even anyone out there who's listening, that there is no need, it does come in everyone's life. There is that desire, a little bit of greed, if you may call it so, like Mamta called it. There is that the wish to rush into something, and then from there the source leads you into a very comfortable space that there is really no need to rush. Everything is happening. For some it happens at 16, for some at 30, for some at 40, for some at 50, some at 70. So it's fine, it's all right. You do not need to look around you. All you need to say is, well, I'm ready and I'm open, and things just happen. And with the two beautiful souls in whom the divine source has expressed itself in our lifetime, we are connected. And there are many, many such beautiful masters and guides available to us in this lifetime on this planet. And we are so blessed to be connected to amazing people who represent the source in the most beautiful form. What more can we ask for? What more can we ask for? There's nothing really we can ask for. And right here, right now, I think all four of us and the people who are right here watching, we've all transformed. Just that bit. We've all transformed by sharing, by just opening up, by being on this platform. We've transformed. And
Yes.
I can't say thank you enough. And thank you, Akhila ma'am, for those beautiful, beautiful little experiences which you shared. Thank you, Mamta. It's always such a pleasure to be connected with you. And I know that this doesn't come just from this lifetime, um, it's somewhere way beyond that. And thank you, Harika. With you too, it's been the same. And we look forward to many, many, many such sharing platforms because it's such a beautiful experience. You do not want it to end, you want it to go on and on. There is really no end to it and no beginning either. And it's been amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Geetaji. That is amazing, so profound. Each and every experience, each and every word. I am sure we are all really just feeling like we are in that LVL state where masters are telling us so many things, and we are just kind of making sure to receive each of those messages and integrate them in our life fully. Yes, it'll take quite some time for at least me to integrate all of the beautiful messages that you guys are sharing. Thank you. And Akhilaji, we want you to share all of that you have planned to share. So please, even the masters have sent me a message, not in my meditation, but really on my WhatsApp, that this episode should be completed with everyone sharing fully whatever they've planned to share. So please share. We are so curious.
Yeah, so Harika, I told you that one of the other things I wanted to say was how it has personally helped. Now, um, The interaction with Dr. Lakshmi and Newton has extended far beyond myself. My children have had regression sessions. I know the atmosphere has changed since 2004. The books that we bought, for example, all the reading I did afterwards, Eckhart Tolle or Louis Hay or Neil Donald Walsh or, Seth books, then Paramahamsa Yogananda, Swami Rama, then, I could give a complete list of reading. So, what has happened in our family is it's not that we don't buy fiction. Yes, we also read Harry Potter. In fact, now over the last few months, I read the entire 7 books of Harry Potter, which I had never done when we had it at home, when my children were reading it. So, we have Harry Potter books, we have fiction, we have asterisks, but I find the conversation with my children easier now. They understand these things. When they are out with their own families, facing their career challenges, they are both in the US. So my daughter often tells me, it's very nice. I have this habit of making detailed notes from any book I read. I've always been one of those students who will sit in the first bench. And even in all of Dr. Newton's workshops, I will be sitting in the first bench and making notes so that I don't get distracted sitting behind and seeing what other people are doing. So I have this habit of jotting down important messages I get from any books that I read, and my daughter always says, you just don't write it. You make an audio of that and just give it to me. So every day I can listen to some 3 messages, 4 messages. I get the extract of what is important and I can listen to that. So what she says is, I find these type of conversations in our house that we talk about, patience, compassion, being forgiving, facing challenges with equanimity, with poise, with trust, with peace in your heart. She says, It's very nice, mummy. I never find my friends having such conversations with their parents, or at least they don't relate it. Whereas, uh, sometimes I joke, now I have to give you a point. As Osho says, I will start and everybody will have a laugh because I know I'll relate an anecdote of something that happened. We used to do it at work also. Every day after lunch, 3, 4 of us used to get into my cabin and we spent half an hour reading something. Like we had Suma Varghese book, Living in the Light. We used to read 2 pages from that and then we will discuss and go back. So, I used to conduct meditation classes in my office. In the lunch break, I will call interested people and say, sit down and do that. So, what I find is that your whole thinking has changed over the years. And the definitive moment was meeting Dr. Newton and attending that basic workshop because that has opened a whole new path. So, it's not more about my experiences, it is more about how we have evolved as a family. And so many other meditation retreats I have, it has opened my mind to look at everything. Ultimately, everybody says the same thing. That's fine. But what happens is some statement somebody makes suddenly resonates with you. And life is so simple. The messages are so simple, but we need to hear it again and again and again. The whole of life is very simple, but we just don't get it because we want big complicated things to follow and then we feel we have done something great. But Dr. Newton and Lakshmi have told us that life is very simple. And Dr. Newton has actually expanded our understanding by so many different lectures he has spoken about, he's conducted workshop. So he has shown us that though everybody ultimately says the same thing, whether it is from the Upanishads or whether it is what they say in Sri Ramchandra mission or what they say in in our pranic healing or in Reiki or whatever modality, it all boils down to the same thing. And unfortunately, we need to hear it again and again from different sources. And that is why I feel that having interacted with Dr. Newton over the last 15 years, there has been an inner transformation. It's not one aha moment. Every moment, every experience after a few months you look back and you find, yes, there is something I learned. In fact, now I'm listening to Dr. Newton's lecture on body consciousness, that video, every day for half an hour. And I tell you, it is so amazing. You can feel his love, his compassion, his positivity, his smile in the meditation video itself. So that is an overall long term
Wow.
continuing experience that I've had in the workshop. I may not be actively doing PLR cases now, but I know, like Mamta ji said, the seed has been sown, and I'm very grateful that the seed has been sown even for my children, because for their life, I always keep saying, I wish I knew the things that I know now when I was 20 years old. There would have been many differences. So I feel whatever we can do to bring those conversations now and then around the dinner table, around the casual chat, into this bigger picture of our lives, our oneness with the universe, our oneness with everyone, how we can have peace, contentment in our heart. Those conversations are an ongoing experience. And that is, as I would say, from that workshop, it has grown. So that is what I wanted to share. Thank you. And thank you, Harika. Thank you, Geeta and Mamta. I think this series
Wow. Wow.
has. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Akilaji. You have summarized so beautifully. And yeah, as I said, I have no words, and it is going to take me quite some time to integrate all of your experiences. But I am so glad and that we are able to telecast this to so many people who can learn from this. If not now, if they are not able to make it live right now, they can also watch it later on and learn so much. I'm so glad that we are given this opportunity by the universe, by the masters, and thanks to you all sharing so beautifully. Thank you, thank you. I can't
Thank
thank
you.
enough.
Namaste to all of you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Thank you,
Thank
Harika.
you, Harika,
you,
for your
Mamta ji,
time. Thank
can
you.
you also please,
Sorry,
yeah, thank
you want
you.
me to say something?
Can you just give one message to close this, yeah, close this session?
Okay. So, one message, what is coming? I don't know. I want to sing one line for our masters also, though I'm not a singer, spontaneously it's coming. One of the messages that I would like to give, maybe in the form of in Hindi, I don't know. It's we say that gum ka khazana mera bhi hai, tera bhi. Gum is pain. You know, we all have pains. I have pain, you have pain. ये नजराना तेरा भी है मेरा भी. I mean, this is a gift which is to you also, to me also. अपने गम को गीत बना के गा लेना. अपने गम को गीत बना के गा लेना. ये गीत पुराना, ये पुराना राग तेरा भी है और मेरा भी. So basically, for those people who do not understand Hindi so much so clearly, so story is, you have also have a story, I also have a story of pain, but in itself, you know, we can make it a beautiful song and sing it, rather than, you know, making it a painful or a suffering journey. So that's a beautiful thing. And anyways, so that's one thing I would say to all, that celebrate life and make it a beautiful song. And one line I wanted to sing for Gurus, but I don't know whether this is the right platform. It's coming spontaneously.
Amazing.
But I need to have your permission to
Yes.
sing. I don't know, it's coming.
Oh,
I should. It's a
yes.
very famous song for the Gurus. Trying to. गुरु मात पिता गुरु बंधु सखा गुरु मात पिता गुरु बंधु सखा, तेरे चरणों में स्वामी मेरी कोटि प्रणाम, तेरे चरणों में स्वामी मेरी कोटि प्रणाम। साईनाथ तुम्ही, हृदयनाथ तुम्ही, साईनाथ तुम्ही, हृदयनाथ तुम्ही, तेरे चरणों में स्वामी मेरी कोटि प्रणाम। तुम्ही शक्ति हो, तुम्ही भक्ति हो, तुम्ही शक्ति हो, तुम्ही भक्ति हो, तुम्ही मुक्ति हो, मेरे भोले शिवा, तुम्ही मुक्ति हो, मेरे भोले शिवा। ला 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 ला। साईनाथ तुम्ही, प्राणनाथ तुम्ही, तेरे चरणों में स्वामी मेरी कोटि प्रणाम, तेरे चरणों में स्वामी मेरी कोटि प्रणाम। थैंक यू।
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mamta. You've taken us into a meditative state with your songs. And Geeta ji, can you also please share one last message before we end
Yes.
this episode?
Yes. Thank you for letting me do the honors. But as Mamta was completing the song, I could hear Dr. Newton saying, his voice reverberating here, saying, "Wow, that was so beautiful. Let's put our hands together for her." And I can see him now with that smile, both of them clapping for her. And I did it here very quietly. And thank you, Mamta. That was beautiful. And when Akhila ma'am was talking, she almost took all the words away from my mouth. She just voiced everything that I had wished to express, uh, because two or three main takeaways from the masters, if you may say so. I would say from divine grace, that life is amazing in its simplicity, and we tend to look for complicated stuff. We make things complicated. We tie ourselves into all sorts of knots, and then we run around pillar to post looking to untie those knots. Uh, Not anymore, really, because when you have such beautiful guides, all you need to do is stand there and say, "I'm open," and the untying happens, and it just happens. The other thing is, completely repeating what Akila Mayam said, that it has not been, transformation is not about one definitive uh, moment or a spot in time. It is an ongoing process, it's still going on. It's a beautiful journey, and I too have been extremely fortunate because the transformation has not been a personal one. All four of us, me, my husband, and two children, have been part of it, and they have been blessed. My children have been blessed much early on, so I could resonate completely word to word with what ma'am was sharing, because even at home today, when we have conversations, it's always, something of this kind comes up, and the conversations have taken on a completely different glow, and they reach a different level, and I'm so glad for that, because the masters have had such a huge transformative role to play, and I can never thank them enough for that blessing. And this will continue, and the children are the most fortunate, I feel, even more than us, because they've got this blessing so early on in life, that they are going to blossom much more, and we are blessed to be able to give them that The masters have entered their lifetimes much earlier, and they've been part of this amazing journey. And what else can I say? I mean, I would just like to leave this platform uh, not with a very happy heart, because this could go on and on and on. Uh, but yes, uh, just look for all that is simple, and the answers are never ever complicated. The messages that you get in any session, in even when you're sitting through a simple lecture, even when you're all by yourself, uh, I've received messages saying, learn to give. That's it. Little three words, learn to give, or giving is receiving. Simple things. And what you make of them and where you put those messages in your life and start working on them is very important. Otherwise, you can have a whole book of messages and not really work upon them at all, or not really take them to the level of integrating and making them a part of your daily life. So you will be stuck with a whole lot of sessions over a period of years. You do them and redo them and go over them again and again. Uh, that is not important. I don't think even the number of sessions you take is important. What I think is important is even that one tiny breakthrough, to which level you're able to take it, to integrate it, to work with it, and to move. That is very important. It's very, very important to go with the flow. So I think that is the most important message. The one message that did come to me came when Akila ma'am was talking. And I will repeat that life is amazing in its very simplicity. So let's not look to complicate things. It's all very simple and it's all out there and in here. And all we need to do is just open our eyes well enough. And that's all. It's all there. It's there for everyone. No one is special. No one is any more special or less special. And we are all part of one beautiful web. You are me and I'm you. That's where we started. And that's where I'd like to end. That we're all just one. That's it. Thank you, Harika. Thank you, Akila ma'am. Thank you, Mamta. It's been
Thank
amazing sharing
thank
space with
you
all of
so
you.
much.
And yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Newton. Thank you, Dr. Lakshmi. I can see you all right here smiling. The smile comes across, your words, your voice, everything just comes through right here, right now. Thank you.
Yes, it has already come in the form of a comment also. If you can all see, they are also acknowledging us all and they are so happy. And I see beautiful comments, people who are so inspired by your experiences. So many of them are like so touched by your experiences. Thank you, friends. Thank you all who are watching these episodes and encouraging
Harika,
us and are inspired by all of these. Yes, Sakshi, please share.
yeah,
Yes.
one last summary. Um, from my side, I've realized that whatever I'm looking for from outside, whether it is love, whether it is support, whether it is understanding, compassion, kindness, I first need to do it for myself. I need to love myself. I need to be kind to myself. I need to forgive myself. I need to be compassionate, patient, understanding. And when I'm doing that with myself, it is very outside people. So that is something that can be practiced every day, little by little, little by little. And that's the message that I feel for me is the last one liner, that whatever you're wanting to do outside, just do it for yourself. Start within. That's it. Thank you. Thank you for the lovely time we've had together. Thank you to all the masters. Thank you to Dr.
Thank
Newton.
you so much for thank you. So we also have been given what do in detail. Akhilaji has beautifully shared how we can apply all this. It starts with us, and it is so amazing. Thank you. Thank you for all your guidance. And we are so extremely grateful for this session. Every day we are growing so much, learning from each one of you. And it is a beautiful session today as well. I'm so glad I'm part of this. Thanks to really deep gratitude to each one of you who have made this possible, especially to our masters and to all of you who have come forward to share your beautiful experiences with the participants, with all the viewers. I mean, thank you, friends. And as you know, we are available for you to call us and contact us through emails, and we will be happy to answer any of your queries. And we'll so look forward to seeing you at QLU. We will end this session with 2 minutes meditation. Without meditation, it feels so incomplete. So we'll just be with our breath for 2 minutes. Let's all close our eyes, sit comfortably, clasp our fingers, and just simply be with the breath for 2 minutes as we integrate all of these experiences, amazing, profound, transformational experiences. As the masters have said, we're all one. So all these experiences are also ours now. We can integrate lesson, essence of it. This is the purpose of Sajjana. Be with your breath, silent space. Let us integrate these beautiful deep gratitude, a beautiful smile. Back this present moment. Whenever you're ready, place your palms on your eyes. Your palms. You can open your eyes. Smile.
Harika, Harika, if I'm permitted,
Yes,
may I share
Gitaji.
some? Yeah, as we were just tuning in, there's something that just played in
Yes,
my head,
yes.
and it could be a parting message. The shloka Akashat patitam doyam yatha gacchati sagaram sarvadeva namaskaraha keshavam pratigacchati. Just as every drop of rain that falls from the sky is onto the ground, uh, every drop flows finally into the ocean. Every path that you take, every road that you choose will lead you. So rest in that knowledge that it will lead you to the ultimate source. You will merge with that source. So that is it just came spontaneously, and I think that's a message that all we need to do is rest assured that whatever we have chosen, whatever we are doing, we are all going there. We are headed in the right direction, and that's it. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Dear friends, we'll meet again tomorrow at 5 o'clock with another new episode. And tomorrow it's going to be a very special episode. So please don't miss it and bring your friends along with you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll see you again.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.